Hello, everyone, and welcome live to 3Wide TV tonight's broadcast of Stay Tuned Sports series here for the BaldHeadIslandVacation.com 150. I'm Peter Short, and alongside me for all the action here tonight, Talladega Superspeedway is Andre Grand Bush. And Andre, we're back Superspeedway racing.
Yep, we are going to be going for 80 laps here at Talladega in these Xfinity cars. Should be a lot of fun. Obviously, the first race of the season was a plate race, and it was quite eventful in more ways than one. Hopefully, this isn't quite as eventful, but having an action-packed race generally isn't a bad thing, and that's what we're looking at here. 12 cars so far have posted times in practice, so let's see how many more we get in practices. Not too long for the world before we get into qualifying, but looks like the 48 coming down pit road, gonna call it a practice session for him.
Yeah, that a couple of new cars out there that we'll have to keep our eyes on here tonight, get used to. One of those is Tom Lester right there. Robert Richards in the number 12. He's all the way on the back stretch. He's another car still out there on the racetrack, but for the most part, the racetrack has fallen silent for a brief moment. Nathan Estep, currently fastest of all, the number 55, Mike Floppy Tellier, who is always good on these super speedways, coming in second right now. We saw Mike get the win in the Total Nonstop Racing League here on 3Wide TV just about a week ago. So he's trying to get two in a row here on the 2.66 mile super speedway in Talladega, Alabama. Looks like we got Will Ratcliffe out there on the racetrack now. There is Will just now coming up onto the high banks. Tom Lester also joining the fray out there on the racetrack once again, trying to get some qualifying lap times in, or at least some practice for qualifying right here before the clock strikes zero. Because, Andre, you know, as much as qualifying doesn't really matter here at Talladega, it is bragging rights. And trying to get the Harpoon Designs Pole Award here for the BaldHeadIslandVacation.com 150. I don't know, it just means, at least it means something to me if you can qualify on pole to super speedway. It's an opportunity for pretty much the whole field to start on the pole, and it just feels good.
Well, yeah, that, and you know, I've said every time we go to a plate race, there's only two safe places on a track like Talladega, either being in the lead or being dead last. And so if you can start up front, give yourself that advantage, maybe have somebody behind you that you can trust to be a good pusher, that's going to be a big help. And 80 laps isn't too awful long of a race, so you know, you don't really want to be messing around in the traffic too much either. So there's some multiple reasons that some guys may go for pole, and some guys may not post a time at all just to try and start towards the back. But qualifying now underway. Practice has concluded. You can see the former airstrip there in the infield of Talladega. And
oh man, you're that was my factoid for tonight's race, actually, here on 3Wide TV. And in fact, we'll bring that up here momentarily. Let's bring up the race info while it takes a little bit for the drivers to get up to speed here in qualifying. And you see 77 degrees ambient temperature. And there's the factoid. Talladega Superspeedway was built on the location of the Anniston Air Force Base, and the runways make up the intercross in the infield. I guess it got clipped off there just a little bit. That's not supposed to say undercross, but intercross. Not sure. I think it's actually right on my end. Maybe another little buggy glitchy thing. But that's exactly what you were just alluding to there, Andre.
Yes, indeed. Kind of a neat little fact. Some people, if you've never been to the track and you never really paid attention to the overhead cams, you might not have noticed it, but yeah, no, it's been that way pretty much since the track's inception, and always a neat thing to see when you look at the infield. But so far, qualifying fairly inactive. We're not seeing too many drivers making an effort here. We do have somebody out on the track. I believe that is going to be the number 28 of Adam Dama. He was a Truck Series regular. Well, he tried to be. I believe he got deployed and wasn't able to race as much as he wanted to race, and now finally here in the Xfinity side of things, he's come back to make an Xfinity debut, so good to see him in the field. You might recognize him from chat.
Yeah, Adam, it's honestly difficult, Andre, when you're half the world away in South Korea.
Yeah.
trying to race against all these drivers here in the USA. You know, time zones don't exactly jive. I think it was Saturday morning when it was Friday evening for us back when we used to do the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series on Friday nights here. And Adam would race from half a world away, and it was always good to see him in the field. Of course, glad to have him back stateside as well as he comes around to complete, I think, the first qualifying lap. No, Will Ratcliffe will get the first lap time, and Jason Shu following suit in the number 3 machine. Dama currently slotting into third on the speed charts. Nathan Eastep out there in the number 55 also just started his first timed lap. Robert Richards halfway down the backstretch on his lap. Adam Newton, who Andre, of course, got that season opening win back at iRacing.com Superspeedway when we were, and the only other Superspeedway that we have on the calendar. As after tonight, we just have one more race left before we move into the playoffs here in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series. So we'll be keeping our eyes on the points. We'll be alluding to that here tonight. But Andre, you want to get a win here tonight to try and put your ticket into the playoffs.
Yeah, we're getting really close to the playoffs. It is not far away at all. And for some of these drivers, they're looking at this track as a great shot. You know, these tracks are always a wild card. So maybe you're not used to the Xfinity car. Maybe you haven't been performing where you want to perform so far this season. But that doesn't really matter because here we are at Talladega where anybody can win at any time. Just got to survive to the end. So it'll be interesting to see how they approach it. Number 4, going to jump to second on the pylon. Just barely, 0.00. So he must be just a thousandth or so behind Ratcliffe in that 95, but doesn't get much closer than that.
No, it is tight here in the National Sim Racing Association, as it is always, as William Ratcliffe currently is on the provisional pole, trying to pick up tonight's Harpoon Designs Pole Award. Big shout out to Harpoon Designs. But as I say that, we have a new driver atop the board, and that is a driver who is, well, not new to the National Sim Racing Association. That is Justin White, one of the league administrators in his Grinds Coffee Pouches Chevrolet. Tom Lester in the number 48 jumping up to second on the board. But Justin here looking mighty fine in his Chevrolet halfway down the backstretch. Not seeing anyone who would be able to even dethrone him off the Harpoon Designs Pole Award. So I think it's going to be Justin White at least, unless Tom Lester's off the pace halfway down the backstretch. So the racetrack falls silent behind Justin White. He's the only car out there on the racetrack right now. Here, Andre, getting to do a little bit of a victory lap in qualifying, if you will, to come across the stripe here.
Yeah, normally I'd say they're getting a little bit extra practice, but you don't really need practice for Talladega. Just keep your foot on the floor and try not to get into the wall. Other than that, pretty simple. But yeah, just getting a little bit of extra track time, and qualifying does conclude. So that is going to put that in order. And it looks like 16 total on the grid for the session tonight, which not too bad. Starting lineup for tonight's BaldheadIslandVacation.com 150. Justin White takes the pole at the very last second from Tom Lester, and it was only 100th between them. William Ratcliffe is going to be at P3 inside row 2 alongside outside Adam Newton. Nathan Eastep is going to be at P5. P6 goes to Jason Shu. Robert Richards is going to go 7th, and Adam Dama in his league return is going to be P8. 9 and 10 going to TJ Elaine and Nate Maurer.
And then back behind them, we got Mike Floppy Tellier in the number 47 to not put a qualifying lap time in. In fact, none of these drivers back here did. Christopher Pendell will be alongside Mike in the number 94. Behind them on row number 7, Garrett Gleason in the number 7. As we look a little bit further back, David Connell in the Esports Gaming Network number 64. I don't think I've seen David Connell's name so far this season. So glad to have another Esports Gaming Network driver in the field, with TJ Elaine being another one of those. Back behind them, Thad Miller and Jimbo Casterline rounding out our 16-car field here tonight. One thing that we did not have back at iRacing.com Superspeedway, Andre, was fast repairs, and that was a little bit chaotic. We ended up with a pretty small field at the end of that race, but we do have fast repairs here tonight, so we'll be talking about the big one, but maybe not just one big one, but multiple big ones. Hopefully we don't have the big one. 16 cars, not the biggest field not the biggest field ever. So a big one here tonight could be absolutely disastrous for these drivers as they finally get rolling here on the front stretch, heading off as the flagman next time by will be waving that green flag frantically. You see the iRacing.com pace car working its way through turns number 1 and 2. The field pacing around here at about 70 miles an hour. That will be the pit lane speed here for these drivers here tonight. On board with Tom Lester, you got to look at that iRacing.com pace car, and you got to look at just how crazy the banking here is, Andre. The one of the highest bankings, if not the highest bankings in the NASCAR schedule.
Yeah, in the real-life NASCAR schedule, of course, we did start the season off at iRacing Superspeedway, the fictitious track, and I believe the banking is even higher there. So, not the highest that these guys have faced, but there are some new faces in the field that did not race there at the start of the season. So, as we make our way down the back straightaway, these guys probably are pondering that iRacing Superspeedway race and trying to figure out how to avoid having that happen. I think, as you mentioned, having the fast repair is going to be a big help. It's going to give some of these guys a second chance should anything happen. But, sometimes at Talladega, one spare shot may not be enough. It's just the nature of the beast. So they're going to have to play it safe, even with that fast repair in their back pocket. Don't want to use it up too early. You want to make sure you have it for when you need it later on. Pace car coming out of turn 4, but it will be a bit of a jog through the tri-oval because, of course, this is Talladega, and as the TV commentators say at every single race, now remember, the start-finish line is way down here, as if NASCAR fans haven't been watching for, so many years.
In the past 5 months, I've forgotten. Where is it? Oh, that's right. That's right. No, I completely don't forget. Green flag about to be in the flagman's hand, and we're about to go racing here for 80 laps. It's a little bit of a long one. I think it was scheduled for a 150. Well, we'll bump that up to a 250 because that's about how the math falls out here tonight. But it's a good race start, rather, for Justin White as he gets out in front. Tom Lester, Adam Newton slotting in second and third.
Yeah, they're going to single file out for the first 4 positions. But look at this. I don't think Lester is going to be content with second. He is going to immediately hang Justin White out to dry. He's got some help from Newton, who, by the way, not only won the first 3 races of the season, but also won the last Superspeedway race we had. So good help to have there with 4 pushing you, but we're going to shuffle it up some more as it looks like Estep in the 55 is going to switch his lane from the top to the bottom. He gets a huge run. He's going to be nose to nose for the lead, but he does not have the draft help. I can't imagine he's going to be able to maintain that run. Coming to the stripe for the first time, we got one driver down on the apron. That's Ratcliffe in the 95, maybe serving a penalty of some sort from last week, but lap number 1 in the books, it is going to go to Lester in the 48 as the 55 is probably serving a penalty from last week, I would believe.
Yeah, not sure what that penalty was. Of course, unfortunately, both Andre and I fell ill 2 weeks ago. We were unable to broadcast the last NSRA race. I heard it was an absolute fantastic event. And I can't quite recall what the race was. Of course, we were not broadcasting for that race. So we'll go back and see if we can get the information on exactly what all went down. But based off of the chat that I saw, it was a good race, and a lot of people said, a lot of the drivers said that was an awesome one, and they were a bit bummed it wasn't broadcast, Andre. So we just had to go both get sick at the same time. I had a flu-y, a COVID-y-like thing. Don't really know what it was. Never got tested for anything, but that's what it was. Bounce back here as out there at the racetrack. It is currently Tom Lester, Adam Newton, Nathan Estep, who have all got single file all the way back to Christopher Pendell in the number 94, but now Pendell jumps up to the top side. Here is William Ratcliffe getting on the racetrack, and he jumps up right in front of traffic instead of staying down there below the yellow line. Shades of LePage.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kevin LePage, thy name is Ratcliffe, and then he comes back down on the apron. I mean, the damage is done, dude. Just stay on the track. I mean, I appreciate the effort, I suppose, but luckily everybody got through. No big issues.
Luckily, that damage was minimized as the field did they did a good job navigating that slower traffic. But unfortunately for Ratcliffe, he's going to go multiple laps down here, I think, because he's going to lose this draft.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to get in line with them. He is so far back at this point that his only hope right now would be a caution. But the thing about Talladega is if you don't have the draft and you are a solo car, it really only oh, he's coming back down pit road, so that may not be good. I'm starting to think maybe there's something going on hardware wise, something's not working. He's pulling out on the track and then realizing, nope, I'm coming back down. We'll have to keep an eye on that situation. But up front, his step in the 55 is going to make a huge push to the front. He's got the 94 of Pendel right behind him, but it looks like the 48 is going to fight back. We're going to go 3 wide on 3 wide TV, possibly for the lead. If that outside lane gets any closer to the front, it will be for the lead. And they are going to come down to the stripe. I think the 48 is going to lead another one in the books, but it's just barely because a step in that 55 is charging back into the front. Into the wall goes the pusher on the outside line. The number 12 machine of Richards gets a little bit of that safer barrier on the right rear quarter panel, but he's all right. You can see the pace is still in that car, at least enough to give the 971 a shove. Nate Maurer, again, enough cannot be said about his success in the truck series. Now he's looking to replicate that here in the Xfinity side of things with a 3 wide move to the lead. These guys are racing like it is lap 79. We are on lap 5. But hey, makes our jobs up in the booth easy.
Will Ratcliffe joining us in the chat. We had a couple of Will Ratcliffe fans as well. Sam Young in the chat was rooting on Will Ratcliffe, but Will saying technical problems. As soon as he hit the start, his frame rate dropped to 9 frames per second. And Andre, that's not drivable. I think I have raced at one time or another as low as maybe 15 to 20 frames per second, but anything below 15 is painful, to say the least. So I feel your pain, Will. Hopefully you can get that all figured out. That's a darn shame for the number 95 currently showing off the racetrack and out of tonight's baldheadislandvacation.com 250, as it now is. As I think Tom Lester, the number 48, continues to lead that inside line. Andre looking strong out front. Here comes Adam Newton, the PPG number 4 Ford, right on his tailgate. And then, of course, behind him is the number 2. That is our Harpoon Designs Pole Award winner here tonight in Justin White. Biggest move of the race so far, Christopher Pendel, plus 7 spots, running there in the AutoZone number 94. Got maybe a little bit ahead of the month of October, Andre, but got pink number 94. And of course, Breast Cancer Awareness Month coming up next month. And usually we see a plethora of pink cars, but Christopher Pendel, I think, might be supporting the cause here just a little bit early. Not saying that's a bad thing, that's a good thing, but first one to throw some pink splashes on the car. Typically, though, the car behind him, the number 47, that's the gold machine of Mike Floppy Teller. Usually that's our pink car in the field, usually sporting the Hello Kitty machine, but here tonight threw on the chrome gold and looking fast so far. Now up into the top 5 for the first time tonight.
Yeah, I was joking in the last broadcast that Hello Kitty paint scheme is kind of the most iconic paint scheme in the league at this point. And at this point, I don't even think it's really a joke. I think it's true. It's the paint scheme everybody recognizes. But, maybe Talladega is time to be serious. No Hello Kitty, no goofing around. Got to put on the serious paint scheme and see what he can do. He's looking for redemption. I remember Mike Tellier was on the receiving end of some controversy at iRacing Superspeedway and some line rule discrepancies and arguments, which you always get at these types of tracks. I don't think we can leave a Superspeedway without a yellow line rule argument. We'll see if we can break that pattern here, but it is the way of NASCAR, I think, these days. But the 55 looking to actually get a lap lead in the books. He's got the advantage over the 48, and he does lead it at the stripes. So he is going to take the solo lead as they go 3 wide per second behind him. Again, these guys racing like it's the final lap. We're only an eighth of the way through this thing, but these guys want to be out front. But they're doing a great job of it. I mean, when they're going down the straightaway, they're not weaving that much. I say as they weave more than they have on any other lap. Thanks, guys. But no, for the most part, they're not weaving that much. They're not going anywhere. They're very spatially aware, and you have to be. I mean, the amount of skill these guys have to maintain this 3 wide for the lead that we've had for numerous laps now is just immense, and these guys are doing phenomenal.
Coming out of turn number 4, it is currently Christopher Pendel right there in the center. with a help from Mike Floppy Tellier, at least for right now, was able to get in front, but Nathan Estep surges ahead there through the tri-oval, and the 55 leads the lap by just a half a fender. As you can see, a good majority of the field all the way back to TJ Elaine in the number 51 machine. Behind him is Jimbo Casterline. Jimbo is just hanging out back there. He knows that this race is neither won nor lost in the opening 10 laps. He says, I'm just going to give myself a little bit of a buffer. TJ Elaine, a new look on the number 51 machine. This is a good-looking ride right there, like the... I would call that the Chartreuse number 51 machine right there. Stay Tuned Sports on his car. And I've seen some other Stay Tuned Sports schemes that TJ Elaine has been running recently in some other leagues, I believe. And those Stay Tuned Sports schemes looking pretty good. I know he's a talented designer for his cars, and they're looking good out there on the racetrack right now. At least clean. Not going to say up the scoring pylon, but still plenty of time here at Talladega. In fact, I'd say about 5 laps is plenty of time here at Talladega to make a move up the field, as I'm sure you will see the scoring pylon continue to shuffle here tonight. Christopher Pendel, Nathan Estep, Adam Newton, Mike Floppy Tellier, Justin White, our current top 5. Tom Lester has dropped back. Now on the outside there, Andrea, it seems like the 971 and Nate Maurer really likes to be the pusher right on that high side, right up by the wall. But now he finds himself with a little bit of a different dancing partner. We've seen him with the, I think that's the number 12 of Robert Richards just underneath the number 48 there in the middle, third car in the middle groove. And now, all of a sudden, as I say that, I think Nate Maurer has said, you know what, I'm going to go back to that number 12 machine, leaves Tom Lester out to dry, and the 48 will start to slide back with no drafting help. Going to try and pick up the number 7 of Garrett Gleason, who just rides outside the top 10 in the Coleman's Care Chevrolet, as they click on by here on lap number 12.
Yeah, sometimes at a plate track like this, you just got to keep an eye on the traffic, see which lane is moving. And occasionally it'll wind up being every man for himself. You just duck out of line, get to that group that is moving. And if you're kind of sleeping, then you may not catch up. We do have Ratcliffe back on the track in that 95, so hopefully he's got his issues sorted out. It'll be a difficult hill to climb, but he may be able to salvage some points as long as he can keep that car going. Getting really tight there for second place. The 4 slides up, the 94 trying to pinch him. Meanwhile, Estep going to lead another lap. We've gone down to double file. We finally got away from that 3-wide chaos, at least for the moment. That number 4, he is really forcing the issue. He does not want to be pinched down on that line. He's sliding up every corner, giving himself a little bit of clean air. And I think that's costing him some time, because when they come out of these corners, that high line has built up so much momentum that Pendel gets up there and leads the lap until they get the shorter way around the track on the bottom. Then Estep takes it back, but that 3 wide is forming back up, I believe. At least the 12th car is trying to form it back up. Richard says, come on, he's got the hand out the window. He's trying to get anybody and everybody to go with him up there. Unfortunately, not getting the draft help he needs quite yet. So he's going to have to slot back in line. And, oh, no, as I say that, immediately to the outside of Tom Lester he goes. So it's going to be 3 wide for 5th and 2 wide for the lead. The battle between Pendel and Estep continuing on through 1 and 2. Keep an eye on that number 7 as well. Garrett Gleason has had a very unlucky season thus far, but I know the last broadcast we did, he did kind of start to turn it around, got a good finish, and maybe going to carry that momentum forward this race as well. 2 by 2 all the way back. Pendel getting such good runs on those straightaways, but he can't ever quite get clear. I think his goal here is going to be to just get ahead of that 55 enough where he can clear himself, drive down to the bottom and hold it there, but he just has not been able to yet.
Yeah, not quite able to supplant that position, but for right now, Estep has a little bit of a nose ahead. I think it was Pendel there at the line by a couple hundredths of a second as they continue to wiggle and squirm. That's one thing I'm keeping my eyes on, Andre, because of course we do have stage cautions here in the National Sim Racing Association. And as we move on here tonight, we're going to get that stage caution at the end of lap number 20. So it's coming up here in a hurry. It is going to be the one and only stage here tonight. So These drivers, especially ones that are just on the outside looking in from a points perspective, they are going to want to get as many points as they can. Let's update you all on what happened at New Hampshire in the last race that we were unable to broadcast here on 3 Wide TV due to both myself and Andre being sick. It was Adam Newton, a number 4 machine, picking up win number 4 on the season. The only driver to get 6 top 5s in the 6 starts so far. He has a commanding points lead over Fred Lester in the points tally by a whopping 78 points. Mike Tellier comes into tonight 3rd place in points. Brent McKee, who, if you look over there on the left-hand side of your screen, not in the race here tonight, comes into tonight 4th. TJ Elaine in 5th. Thad Miller, Will Ratcliffe, and Garrett Gleason rounding out our top 8 drivers. Then Christopher Pendell and Justin White rounding out our top 10. But Andre is, looks like we're coming up on the back here of Will Ratcliffe. We'll see if Ratcliffe elects to stay low on the racetrack. Looks like he will. This will be interesting for Adam Newton. Oh, Ratcliffe's going to drop to the bottom side of the racetrack and let the field on through. Good, smart move there. Unfortunately, it won't be the night that Ratcliffe was after, but he's hoping to pick up some points just staying out there on the racetrack and clicking off lap after lap, and maybe get some retirements in front of him. But a lot less scary that time than right there on lap number 2 or 3, whenever it was, when the field caught Ratcliffe just coming off pit road.
Yeah, you got to respect it. He saw what happened the first time and was not looking to repeat that mistake, so played it a little bit smarter. So, he got down to the apron, let these guys go through. But as you said, not the night he was looking to have, the hardware issues he was having, setting him back now 6 laps, just 17 laps into this 80-lap event. But out front, for once, it looks like Estep does not have a challenger he can breathe for the time being. But I wouldn't say he's going to have that breathing room much longer. That outside is forming up. The pole sitter is at the front of that outside lane. He's got some pretty good draft help. Richards has been a good pusher all night long. Look at that. You got Nate Maurer, who was towards the front earlier. He's in that group as well, so we'll see what they can do. And we do have caution number 1 on the night here on lap 18. Didn't quite catch it on the live camera, but we'll take a look at the 3 Wide TV replay. Looks like it was a little bit further back. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness.
Yikes.
Riding on that safer barrier, the number 7 took a hard hit. Jimbo Casterline involved as well, the 51. Oh, boy.
Yeah, we might need to go back a little bit further on that one, and might even need to slow that one down, because they were in the middle of 3 wide there. Let's see if we get one more look at this. Looks like TJ Elaine there in the number 51 machine kind of goes up in the middle. Gleason, I think, got the late call that there were 3 wide. He tried to straighten out, but it was too late. They kind of squeezed the number 51, and Gleason goes for one heck of a ride onto the side of the Comans Care Chevrolet. Hopefully he can limp it back to pit road. Remember, they do have a faster pair here tonight. Not sure about Jimbo Casterline. Garrett, hearing that Garrett actually had to take a tow back to pit road. Oh, this is a little bit too far gone at that point. Let's see if we can get a ride on board with Gleason in the gyro cam. You get, well, the gyro cam gets a workout here on 3 Wide TV. Unfortunately, I think the number 7's engine, though, went kaput. I'm not sure about Jimbo's engine. There's Jimbo after the accident, missing a whole front end. Looks like he was able to drive away. Looks like he not able to give Gleason a shove around the racetrack, but that will likely be the stage caution as well, Andre. I don't think we'll go back green here. It looks like Nathan Estep will win stage number 1 here at the one and only stage here at Talladega.
Yeah, so that's going to fall right around our stage, so I believe you're right. And that 55 going to take the stage win coming down pit road, as will everybody else. There's the number 7 still taking that tow. That is the downside to getting too much damage. Yes, you have the faster pair, so when he does get that tow, he'll be back in the race, but unfortunately not able to limp it back to pit road, so he won't be on the lead lap, which is going to be a tough thing to overcome. I mean, 1 caution so far. It's been a pretty green flag affair, so you can't really rely on too many wave arounds. There you see Jimbo. He did make it to his pit stall, and he will take that quick repair. Ooh, insult to injury. He kind of overshot his pit stall as well, but the 55 wins the race off pit road. Looks like the last few stragglers getting back out onto the track. That is going to do it. Tell you what, let me see if I can find Nathan here. We'll have a quick word with him now that he's out of the pits. You got a copy, Nathan?
Yeah. What's up?
Well, you've had a really great run so far, taking the stage 1 win with that caution coming out where it did. Got a lot of laps led under your belt. Looking to lead some more?
Yeah. Hopefully, can either get myself for Chris and victory lane tonight.
Yeah, hopefully so. And what do you think the key is to a track like Talladega? What's the mindset here?
Just to survive, be there at lap 80.
I'd have to agree there. And I guess the best place to survive is out front. Nobody can hit you if they're all behind you, huh?
Yeah, I think I'm like in 10th now because I pitted there, but we'll see what happens.
Well, a lot of guys came down pit road with you, so shouldn't have lost too much time. But anyways, Nathan, we'll put you back with your team. Good luck with the rest of the race, and hopefully we're talking to you later.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for broadcasting. If I don't get to talk to you later.
All right, stage winner out of the booth. Yeah, I don't think he lost quite as much position as he... Yeah, down to 8th, it says, so far, which got a few people who did. Did they stay out completely, Peter?
Yeah, some of them did. Christopher Pendel, Mike Tellier, Adam Newton, Justin White, Tom Lester, Thad Miller, Adam Dama, all 7 of those drivers electing to stay out, which is a surprise. I'm not sure if maybe the information I have on the stage caution is out of date. It's definitely what was published at the beginning of the season. So we'll wait and see, but I believe that was the stage caution. Didn't hear anything too different from Nathan Eastep. So let's see if we can get a quick word, though, with the number 7 machine of Garrett Gleason. He's on pit road. He's a couple of laps down. Oh, he's rolling away. I was going to ask him a question, but I don't know. Let's see if we can get him into the 3-wide TV booth here pretty quickly. Garrett Gleason, Peter Short, 3-wide TV booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy, Peter. I don't have a clue what the other driver was doing, splitting Jimbo and I 3-wide. If you want to pass at that stage of the race, just ask.
Well, I was going to ask if you hey, Sanka, you did, but I guess you're back out there rolling with the fast repair.
Well, Peter, I don't like using the fast repair. This is the first time I think all season I've used it. I'm completely against it, but the Giants are losing by 2 touchdowns. I figure might not have much more of a game to watch, so I'll come out here, run a couple laps. If I get a quick yellow, I'll stick around. If not, I'm gonna go to bed angry as I usually do.
I forgot it was I forgot it was Thursday night, and I forgot there was Thursday night football. So I'm gonna throw this up real fast. Oh, that's not Georgia State, Coastal Carolina. I gotta watch this because, Garrett, I gotta give you all the grief for being a Giants fan if they're losing.
Yeah, they're losing, Peter, and it's not really much of it's the defense that's embarrassing them. It's 3rd and 13. Everybody in the world knows they're throwing a screen pass to Christian McCaffrey, except apparently the Giants defense. So halftime adjustments, bud. We're gonna see what happens, and we'll get back out there. Just like the halftime adjustments we're gonna make on this number 7 Coleman Scare Chevrolet if we get back some lucky dogs that get on the lead lap.
Well, I'm gonna have the Sports Center ringtone going here every time the Giants give up another touchdown. But we'll let you get back to it there, bud.
You too. Take care, guys.
All right, green flag is in the flagman's hand, and they are rolling once again. Kind of a disjointed restart here, Andre, as Pendel gets us back going.
Yeah, that was kind of we'll call it a Kyle Busch-esque restart for some of those drivers a little bit further back, but unfortunately not getting the run that Kyle was attempting to get back when that iconic moment happened. Out front, the 94 of Pendel is going to have the solo lead, at least for the moment. It's got Mike Tellier, Adam Newton right behind him. Tellier with a good run. The number 2, the pole sitter, Justin White, going to give him a little bit of draft help down the straightaway as we work our way down into 3 and 4. There's Tom Lester and Adam Dama trying to break into the top 5. He's got one more position to go if he wants to get up there, but having a good night so far. It's been a while since he raced. Maybe knocking the old rust off the steering column and getting back to it.
Yeah, looking pretty good there. Riding 4th on the inside in the number 28 machine. A little bit of a new look. Don't think I've seen that paint scheme on the number 28 before. It looks like Yoda works as well. Jason Shu almost making contact back there. I think that was with E-Step, as they got mighty tight there in turn number 1. But able to stay off of one another and fight to live another day. Garrett Gleason. Garrett, stay on the racetrack there, buddy. He's trying to hold on to this lead draft. As, like I said, it was so disjointed, it really kind of took a little bit for them to kind of get rolling. Gleason, as you can see there on the left-hand side of your scoring pile, I'm currently sitting 2 laps down, maybe watching the Giants a bit too closely. Here we go, back up at the front of the field, Andre. Remember that 3-wide action we had there under that last green flag run? It's back here as we work through lap number 23, make it lap number 24 as we go across the stripe.
Yeah, these guys are saying, yeah, some drivers further back had to use their faster pair, but we still got one in the book, so, let's get at it. I think that's the mentality is the 47. A little bit of connectivity issues. I don't know what the primary internet provider is over in Canada land, but he may want to have a word with his, because he is blinking in and out like crazy as he is still charging towards the front. The problem is nobody can really see him while he's charging and he's blinking like that, so a bit of a scary situation, but maybe stabilizing now. We didn't see him blinking earlier, maybe just an intermittent issue as he's firmly on the track now, but still that 94. I said earlier, if he could get to the bottom, that's where he was going to try and stay, and it's finally come to fruition. He got the solo lead, dove down to the bottom, and that is where he has pretty much parked the bus, because so far, you can get a run on the outside, and you may even be able to lead a lap on the outside, but you can't sustain the lead up there, at least not for the time being. I don't know if that top line is going to come in, or if some drivers are going to get a little bit more aggressive with it, but so far the bottom seems to be the best place for defense. As I say that, look at this outside. Richards and Nate Maurer, these two have been hooked up pretty much all night long doing the 2-car tandem, and it may be working out here.
Yeah, we haven't quite seen that outside line get that big run that it's needed to pull itself fully ahead. As Tellier again having some connection issues. Like you said, the only Canadian in the field here tonight, Andre. But for right now, that outside line is still just a car length or so off of the lead as Pendel continuing to pull the field around this 2.66 mile super speedway as they almost looked at 4 wide there in turn number 1 and 2 as the field got a little bit disjointed. That high line also getting disjointed. You see, Andre, how that high line still kind of meandering back and forth. Oh, Pendel almost got turned off the nose of the 4 machine, and now having to try and come back up onto the racing surface. It's going to be tight. Looks like they were able to hold on, but that was a big moment up at the front of the field.
Yeah, that was a huge moment. We almost saw the leader of the race get taken out. He was able to gather it up, but he did lose the track position. We'll go back and look at it on the 3-wide TV replay. Keep your eye on that 94. It really didn't even seem like the push was that misaligned from Adam Newton. Sometimes, though, with this Xfinity car especially, it doesn't take much, just a few inches off in either direction, and you might be looking at a spin. Luckily, the 94, he gets the, over on PTR TV, Corey always gives these guys the Ricky Rudd Award. How did I save it? I'm just that daggone good. Well, apparently the 94 is that daggone good, because that easily could have been a lot worse than it was.
These cars are going upwards of 190 miles an hour down that backstretch, and I've seen 195 going off into turn number 3 there. So it is one heck of a save when you prevent it from looping around on you here at Talladega in that situation. Hopefully we don't see much more of that here tonight as we close in on the cross flags here at Talladega Superspeedway. Still waiting to see several of these drivers make their first green or their first pit stop of the night, including Mike Tellier, Chris Pendel, Justin White, Tom Lester, Adam Newton, Adam Dama, and Thad Miller. All those drivers did not pit under that caution flag that we had around lap number 20 here tonight. So we expect to see them on pit road probably here in the next 10 or so laps, which would be kind of a shocker, really, Andre, because if you come down and have to pit under green flag conditions, it's really going to hurt at least your track position temporarily. But if the field is broken up kind of 50-50, maybe it will work out that way. But I'll tell you what, I think I would have been in that crowd that came down on pit road a little while ago to at least take fuel. Maybe not tires at this point, but at least fuel. Because coming down and pitting here at Talladega, it's a lot slower on pit road. We'll just put it that way.
That it is, and I'd likely be right there with you coming down pit road under that caution, but maybe these guys are just trying to make it on one stop. I don't know if 40 laps is a pipe dream or if it's possible. I'm not that informed on fuel mileage, but if they can make it to lap 40, that's really all it's going to take, and then they can get their one pit stop in and be guaranteed to make it should it stay green. Whereas these guys that did pit under that caution, if making it to 40 is an option for everybody else, then they've just essentially added a pit stop to the race for really no gain. Tires obviously don't really matter here, and none of those guys really had to use their quick repair. But look at this, the 94, after sliding it down to the apron, has gotten all the way back up to third. Tom Lester, who was also a part of that kerfuffle, he's right behind him, and they're charging back to the front. You cannot keep these guys down as they are back to third and fourth respectively, although 47 going to get the nose for the position for fourth. Look at this, for the lead, weaving back and forth. Nate Maurer getting a little bit unsettled on the bumper of the leader. You do not want to see that. We almost had another Chris Pendell situation, but luckily it didn't go that far as we go down into 3 and 4, looking on the back bumper of our leader. And you see the 97 just looking up to get the nose clean, and look at this, 3 wide further back. Here comes Richard on the bumper of Lester. That's not aligned very well, but they're going to be able to at least keep it straight for the time being. And that 3 wide maintaining. You got Adam Newton on the bottom. You got the 94 in the middle. He's the meat in the sandwich. Then you got the 48 of Tom Lester getting these huge pushes from the number 12. And I say it a lot when we go to these plate tracks, but, you know, reputation is king. If somebody knows the way that you race, that's going to affect how they race with you. And if they know that you're a good pusher, you're somebody that's good to work with, maybe they're going to be more willing to work with you when it counts, when that checkered flag is about to fly. So Richard's putting some goodwill in the bank, at least for the moment. Up front, though, the 55 of his step continuing to lead. Nate Maurer doing everything he can to try to take it away from him. He keeps looking high, looking low, but so far, not made it happen.
Yeah, back to that double file for right now, as we're 9 laps away from seeing the cross flags. That'll be the halfway mark here at Talladega here pretty soon. I really don't think these drivers can make it on fuel to the halfway mark. I'd be surprised if they can. Maybe they can, but only time will tell. As E-Step out front was one of those drivers who pitted on lap number 19. At least with my preferred strategy. Not sure about everyone else's, but at least mine. As you see there at the back, right-hand side of your screen, Garrett Gleason, Will Radcliffe still kind of in this lead pack. So I thought Gleason might lose the draft, but he was able to hold on quite nicely. Now, Jimbo Casterline, tough story for him is he has lost the lead draft, and he is in danger of going 1 lap down here probably in the next 10 or so laps. As he is running, about, believe it or not, almost 3 seconds slower, Andre, than this lead draft.
Oh, I believe it. Being in a pack like this gains you so much time at these tracks. It is almost unfathomable. It really does not take that long as a solo car to go down a lap. It only takes, let's say, 10 or 15 laps at the absolute most. So, unfortunate for Jimbo. He will be the provisional lucky dog should a caution come out, because the next car lap down is 2 laps down. That's Garrett Gleason. And depending on how the Giants play, he may not be in this race much longer. Then you got Ratcliffe 5 laps down. So he's got a healthy buffer there, but he's still going to rely on a caution.
Yeah, that is true, and Garrett's Giants are now at halftime, so he's going to have to wait, I think, a little bit behind the wheel to see if maybe the Giants can turn it around. They did score a field goal right before the whistle was blown on halftime out there on the West Coast in San Francisco at Levi's Stadium, so Garrett might be happy. Oh, big turn right there. He stepped in the wall. The 2 in the wall right up at the front of the field. The 48 gets thrown into the air. The number 3 gets flung. That was right up at the front of the field, Andre. And unfortunately for the number 2, that's some heavy damage.
Yeah, that is the big one. A lot of heavy hitters involved in that. We'll try to dissect exactly what happened on the 3-wide TV replay. The big headline here is that a step was evolved. He's led majority of laps tonight. So it looks like Lester given a push to the number 2, but it was not lined up. It was just a few inches misaligned. We talked about it earlier. That is all it takes. So he slid down into the leader, then up to the outside wall. And from there, a lot of these guys coming out of the corner, they were committed to their lane and they were going down the track to avoid what was happening. And unfortunately, the 48 was in their path. He got a huge chunk of it. Now, I believe everybody involved in that particular wreck had a fast repair. So these guys will be back in the race, but they have now used their fast repair. They're in a bit of a precarious situation. Here's a look at it from Adam Damas' roof. See how he saw this wreck coming out of turn 4 or turn 2. Again, he's just going down low, trying to avoid the incident, and wow. Somebody inspect that car, because he's got a golden horseshoe taped somewhere on the underbody of that thing, because that was about as close as it gets, and he was able to get out of there unscathed.
Here we go, on board with Tom Lester. Keep your eyes on the second hit here. There's the initial contact that put the number 2 into a spin, and then bam, gets hit, impaled by the number 3 of Jason Shue, and unfortunately that's damage for Shue and damage for Lester, but that will be a lot of fast repairs now. Unfortunately, if you are a fan of Justin White, who was battling for the race lead, well, Justin's night unfortunately taking a little bit of a bad turn. He had to take a tow back to pit road, so he is going to go a lap or 2 down. Meanwhile, this is a great caution for Jimbo Casterline, who will be able to catch up to the lead pack. Also, great caution for Garrett Gleason, who was able to come down and get the lucky dog. So, and also, I guess, don't forget about the rest of the field, Andre, because we were thinking they'd have to pit for fuel here very, very soon. Well, they get this caution as an opportunity to come down and get that fuel, maybe not under green flag conditions. So that's good news for all of those drivers who did not pit previously on lap number 19.
Yeah, that is a bit of a relief for those guys, because they can come down pit road and not have to worry about going a lap down unless they are getting some severe damage fixed, which, again, they got fast repairs, so that shouldn't even come into play. You just have to definitely eases the mind a little bit, knowing that, yeah, I can come get some tires, some fuel, not really worry about it. Now, they should, as far as I'm aware, they should have one more stop. It may just be a splash and go, but these guys should have one more mandatory stop. I'm with you, Peter. I think 40 laps was kind of just on the edge, and now we should be going green with 38 out of 80, so it'll be a good 42, 43 laps remaining when we go green. So it'll be quite a ways to go on fuel. Richards is going to take the lead. Now that's, although actually, does he have the lead, or is he just being scored there right now? Is it Maurer or Richards?
Richards is the leader. Maurer is in second. I'm not sure why it's still saying he's on pit road. I've tried to trick the graphic, but as you kind of cycle these through, I think it just comes back to, nope, there you go. It fixed it.
And look at this.
Just had to cycle it, but yeah, some extra fuel going on some of these drivers as Tellier leads a small batch of them back down onto pit road to top it off.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to get every last bit of fuel they can get in these cars. They came down and pitted with everybody else, burned a couple laps on the pace laps, and then came down for a splash of fuel. And that, you know what that tells me, Peter? They're going to try. They are going to try to make it to the end of this thing, for better or for worse, because there's no reason to give up that track position for a little bit extra fuel if you're not thinking long term. So that's going to be interesting. And it's a lot of fast cars that did that. I mean, Mike Tellier, the 94 of Pendel, these two have been rocking up front with the leaders all night long. So interesting strategy out of some front runners, and we'll see how that works out. But yeah, the pitting has been interesting all night. I don't think there's been a single point in this race, except for the very first stint, where everybody was on the same strategy and had the same thing in mind. It's been split strategy since that first caution, which is pretty interesting. You don't normally see that kind of thing at a track like Talladega, but, it's a unique league, and here we are.
Yeah, I think you said that pretty well. Meanwhile, pace car lights have turned off, so that is good news. We'll get set to go back green flag, and Andre, we are right there, close to the halfway distance here in the Bald Head Island Vacation.com. Now, speaking of tonight's sponsor, I did a little bit of research. Looked up BaldHeadIslandVacation.com. I went there myself, and I was, I'd never heard of Bald Head Island, Andre. You hear a lot of kind of East Coast, Carolina places to go visit. Well, Bald Head Island was not one of those that I had heard of before. So I looked it up and found out some really cool things. If you're close to North Carolina, they've got a lot of stuff to do, a lot of really cool beach houses to stay at. You can have some really big ones, really fancy ones if you want to go rent one and get away, spend some time on the beach in North Carolina's oldest standing, or close to North Carolina's oldest standing lighthouse. Go check out Bald Head Island Vacations.com. They got vacation rentals, real estate sales, information, events going on in that island. Pretty cool stuff. But we're back to green flag racing right now. Robert Richards again on that loud pedal early. They've really strung these out on these restarts, but Andre, just wait. 2 laps from now, they'll probably be 3 wide. Once again, here on 3 Wide TV, as we're looking at the front bumper of Nate Maurer as he gives a little bit of a bump draft to Robert Richards.
Yeah, Richards has been the pusher all night long. He's never really been the pushy. When I asked if he had the lead, that's kind of why I was asking, because if he's in the lead, which he is obviously, he's in an unfamiliar situation. Now he's got somebody pushing him. But luckily, it's a familiar face. It's the guy that he was previously pushing, that being Nate Maurer. So you know that these two trust each other, and it's a good situation to be in. But still, even if it's somebody you trust, if you're more comfortable being the pusher, being out front can be a scary thing, or vice versa. They've got a good breakaway. I mean, look at this gap they've built up. Maybe too big of a gap. Maybe third place. If Connell's going to get a good run here, we'll have to wait and see. But so far, Richards leading the way, and I'm not surprised to see that. I figured he'd lead some laps tonight with the pace that he showed. But also, Peter, you got me Googling now. I looked up that Bald Head Island, and it's also the home of the oldest lighthouse. So, that's an interesting thing. I think you might have mentioned that as I was Googling it. But a little bit of history to that island. Not just the lighthouse, but a few other historical buildings. So I'd never heard of it either. Interesting thing. Single file so far. Look at Adam Dama inside the top 5. He is currently P4 right behind Connell, and these two trying to get a run. And look at this. One of those drivers who took extra fuel, Peter. He came down pit road, gave up a bunch of track position. Well, he's got it back. Mike Tellier is pushing Dama, and now maybe looking to get around him.
Yeah, Tellier jumping up the scoring pylon. No big surprise there. He's a hard charger for sure. But let's keep our eyes on David Connell here in the number 64. New to the NSRA. I don't think we've had him on one of our broadcasts before, but looking pretty right now inside the top 3 as we will see the cross flags this time by. We'll be halfway home in the Bald Head Island Vacation.com 213. I did the math. I said it was 150. I was wrong. I said 250. I was wrong. I did the math, and it's 213. Sometimes you just have to sit down and throw it into Microsoft Calculator and figure out exactly what the race distance is. And that's what we did here tonight as Robert Richards in the number 12 gets thrown up to the high side. He's been working with Nate Maurer pretty much the entire night, but Maurer goes up the racetrack to pick him up. Now here comes David Connell and Adam Dama, two drivers there in that inside groove, starting to make some noise. We had mentioned Adam Dama had been racing in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series for quite some time, and good to see him back out there on the racetrack here in these Xfinity cars this season here in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Series. And of course, with it being football season, you want to tune into the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast, especially if you're located in the Philadelphia area and you're an Eagles fan, Phillies fan, etc. Because I'm sure Jimbo has his hot takes on the hot start to the season for the Eagles and the Cowboys, and well, the not so great start for the Giants of Garrett Gleason's, much to Garrett Gleason's demise, as he also rolls around the racetrack in 13th right now. But finally, we're back to side-by-side for the race lead, as Maurer able to push ahead with a push from Richards in that number 12. And look at the number 95 there. That's Will Ratcliffe, third car in the high line. He's 5 laps down, but looks like he's got his technical gremlins figured out. And Andre, he's trying to get a lap back the hard way.
Yeah, and it's moments like this, he's probably more frustrated about those technical difficulties than any other, because right now he's right there with the leaders. He's thinking what could have been if this was for the lead lap, but unfortunately just was not meant to be. Also, I want to point out that caution did come out before Jimbo went a lap down, so he was able to stay on the lead lap, and most importantly, that gave the lucky dog to Garrett Gleason, who you just mentioned, and he went from 2 laps down to 1 lap down. So we do have an official race for the lucky dog, Gleason in that 7, and Justin White trying to compete to get the wave around should a caution come out. It looks like on the scoring pylon, Gleason is ahead. Justin White may not be with the draft at this point. So who knows? After that hard hit and doing a little bit of wall riding, Jeff Bodine style, he may very well get back on the lead lap with a fresh car.
Yeah, not sure if Justin White just was not able to hustle around to catch the back of the pack for that restart just a little while ago. But he is showing right now about 20 or so seconds behind Garrett Gleason. So almost a half of a lap behind the number 7. Adam Dama right there in the tri-oval. Good catch. Good save by the number 28 machine. A bad bump from Mike Tellier right there. Almost sent him spinning into the infield grass, but he was able to keep it pointed in the right direction. Again, some good heads-up driving by the whole field, not to make that matters worse. I think Tellier kind of backed off, let Dama save the race machine and prevent it from ending up in a sorry state. So good job there, Dama. And tell you what, Andre, not the first time we've seen that here tonight. Quick hands.
No, and these tracks, and especially with these Xfinity cars, I would say there's really only one car on the surface that is harder to push, and that's the Gen 4 car. But these Xfinity cars, they're kind of round on the rear bumper. They look flat, but they're not. They're rounded off, and that makes it so easy to just give somebody a push that, from your perspective, for all intents and purposes, it looks like it's lined up. It looks like it should work. But just the way the body is cast formed says, nope, we're going to send somebody down into the absolute pits of despair. And we've had that happen a time or two. But it was a good save by Adam Dama, and he may have to make another one. Oh, my goodness. Oh, boy. That got the old heart rate going, even for me up in the booth. I thought that was going to be something, but able to keep her going right behind that 94 of Pendel. Single file mostly on the bottom, but the 95 and the 51. These two machines involved in their own incidents. They're up on the high line, trying to form up, but not quite able to get the momentum.
Yeah, that high line will die away again as Tellier and Dama again almost getting into it with one another. Now Tellier gets around Dama, and I think Dama's probably like, you know what? I'm not too upset about that. Just you go ahead, Mike. After almost getting into 2 or 3 scary situations there in just a handful of laps. So Dama slides back right now into the 6th spot. But still, like we've been saying, plenty of time here. You want to see lap number 80 if you want to have a shot at getting the checkered flag here tonight. Dama riding 6th right in front of Adam Newton. 4 wins in the first 6 races for Newton. Those only races that he ended up kind of not going to victory lane in. Well, one of those was, of course, the road course race that we had at, let's see, that was Monza in Italy, and finished on the podium in that race. We've highlighted the top 5 streak is still alive for the driver of the number 4 machine. And interestingly enough, the only other race that number 4 has not gone to victory lane this season, Robert Richards was the winner at Richmond Raceway. In fact, we probably should have called that one. It was Richard's Richmond Raceway. There's parallels there, Andre.
Yes, sir, there are. But so far, Newton has been playing it very conservative. He's not really led any laps. He's not really been up on the podium all that much. He was up there for a little bit earlier in the first stage, but I kind of like what he's doing. I think he's playing it smart. I don't think that he's running 7th place because that's all his car has, or that's just all he can really muster. I think he's back there because that's where he's comfortable. He's going to let these guys race it out. Just use the draft, let them pull him around the track, and save a little bit of fuel if he can. And there's no point in getting aggressive until that checkered flag is in sight. So right now, playing it a little bit safe, trying to keep the top 5 streak alive. Behind him, just a couple of lap down cars as he is just rolling behind Dama. Actually, Elaine is not lap down. His number 51 is on the lead lap. He took that safe repair. He took the quick repair after that incident with the number 7, and he was able to get it down to pit road on his own power, so that did keep him on the lead lap. So a lot of cars in contention right now, even still. 12 cars on the lead lap, and really 8 of them are in this lead pack, so that's quite impressive. Mike Tellier, Chris Pendell, just kind of rolling the bottom, but look at this. Nate Maurer taking it away from Richards, the 971, going up and down the track. Richards maybe trying to take it back here.
And he's going to slot in, and they kind of yo-yo a little bit, and then do the worm down the backstretch, following one another. It sure does look like Richards wants to duck out to try and go for the race lead, but they're just too strung out right now. They're too single file. There's really no one in this lead pack making an effort to make a charge. But as I say that, Christopher Pendell might have just got a little bit squirrely again with Tellier behind someone. Andre, do you think, I know that 47's aggressive. Do you think maybe he might be making some anti-friends, some enemies here at this point of the race with some of this aggressive bumping he's doing?
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. But that being said, I can't necessarily blame all of the issues on him. I almost feel like there's got to be a little bit of net code around that 47, because we did see him blinking in and out, and we do see it occasionally. So, when he's trying to push somebody, the net code of where his car is may not be what the server is seeing on server side, which is going to lead to misaligned pushes, which are going to get people sideways. But yeah, he is definitely being aggressive, and as I was talking about earlier with some of these guys, reputation at a plate track is key, because it's all about working with people, navigating traffic, and here we go. A couple of cars splitting off down pit road in front of Nathan Estep, who we are on board with. But yeah, we know the 47's an aggressive driver, and that's not really changing, but Chris Pendell and Mike Tellier, these were 2 drivers that did take that extra splash of gas, Peter, and now they're going to come down and get their stop out of the way.
Yeah, that leaves me kind of scratching my head a little bit, to be honest with you. But looks like Tellier's down and away. Pendell, a slow stop for the number 94, as they will not come out of pit road together. That is bad news for both of those drivers. You want to be off pit road together, nose to tail, because if you're not nose to tail, you're going to lose a ton of time trying to form back up. Let's see if there's any takers on pit road this time. No, does not look like it. So we'll see if Tellier and Pendell can kind of form back up. A 2-car draft is better than a 0-car draft, or just single cars out there on the track. So we'll see exactly how that plays out here in the final 29 laps at Talladega Superspeedway, as we are rapidly approaching the 25 to go signal, as looks like Robert Richards kind of up and down the racetrack a little bit, finding it difficult, I think, to follow the 971 lockstep, as he might be overheating a little bit. You can overheat these cars if you get too close to someone's bumper for too long. You actually block the nose, or rather the car in front of you blocks the air going into the radiator, and that will cause your race car to overheat. So not sure if that's exactly what's happening here with Robert Richards, as he has definitely been on the rear spoiler of the 971 for, well, probably over half this race at this point, Andre.
Yeah, these two have been linked up all race long. We talked about it earlier, and nothing's really changed since then. Just bumper to bumper, really working together very well. And so far, no issues. But I tell you, Richards really makes it look like he's trying to get out front. Maybe just trying to cool the nose, who knows? But the way those moves look and how aggressive and abrupt they are, that looks like more than just getting a little bit of air cooling to me. That looks like maybe trying to force the issue, get up to the quarter panel. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, Nate Maurer continuing to lead the way. Connell in the 64, Adam Dama, then Adam Newton, who at this point, I believe that number 4 is the last car that took that extra splash of gas. So if anybody's going to try to make it, it would be him. I'm not saying he will, but again, I just can't imagine any reason that they would have come down and sacrificed that track position for that little bit extra fuel, unless that was the mindset. But the other two who did that, the 94 and the 47, well, they came down pit road. Now, look at the timing and scoring. Pendel never got linked up with Tellier. You mentioned what a slow stop it was for the 94. I would have thought that Tellier would have slowed down a little bit, let him get to the bumper, because 2 cars are going to be faster than 1. But he doesn't need him, because it looks like he got linked up with the number 2, who is a lap down. And they, on their own, for the time being, I think are running lap times good enough to spare themselves going a lap down. But Pendel, not so lucky. He's 45 seconds back at a track with 50 or so second lap times. So he's getting closer and closer. But these two definitely booking it. Pole sitter and Mike Tellier just linked up.
Yeah, definitely not going to be the night that the number 2 machine of Justin White wanted, unless we can get another couple of caution flags and he can find himself back onto the lead lap here. As for right now, it has really calmed down, Andre. I mean, we saw a lot of 2x2x2, a lot of 3 wide action early in the race, but right now we're kind of in the middle race lull, if you will. As you see the sun actually setting here at Talladega Superspeedway. I am curious, Andre. Going to bring up the current weather conditions on the right-hand side of your screen. As well, I don't know about you, Andre, but the clock appears to be clicking a little bit fast. Maybe 2 times speed there, as you see the second graphic saying at 6:01. Granted, it is May 15th, so you wouldn't expect the sun to set in Alabama anytime close to 6:02 in the evening in the month of May. So do expect us to finish under daylight, but considering we probably have another 23 minutes left to go in this race or so, maybe 22 minutes left to go in this race, and it looks like we're going 2 times speed. It's gonna be fairly dark by the time checkered flag falls.
Yeah, that's kind of been a thing the last couple broadcasts. Is the clock seems to be a little bit sped up, so it could get dark. Luckily, as you said, I think we're going to be spared having the sunset, which is good, because Talladega does not have lights, as per Bob Pockris every year. So we're going to have issues if it ever came to that, but luckily I don't think we could get enough cautions at this stage that it would. You can see at the left-hand side of the frame, just behind the scoring pylon, that is the 94, Chris Pendel. He's about to go a lap down. Unfortunately, just that slow stop, he was unable to get linked up with the one other driver on pit road with him at the time, and now this is going to be the cost. You see all those drivers going by as we ride on board with Pendel. He's got a slot in line, doing what he needs to do. Very smart decision to get in this draft now, because at this point, his only hope is that he can maybe snipe that lucky dog position away from Gleason, who is further back in the pack. He's not really up there contending for it. But right now, he's kind of relying on a caution, and we've only had really 1 caution for cause. So, 2 cautions for cause. But either way, for as much racing as we've done, they've kind of come at a premium.
Yeah, but we did have 2 pretty decent-sized accidents, one of which involved this driver right here, Garrett Gleason, who now finds himself not in the lucky dog position because of Pendel falling 1 lap down. So Gleason needs to start making a charge to the front of the pack if he wants to get past Pendel. if a caution flag was to come out. As was wondering maybe if Jason Shu was thinking about coming down to see his pit crew. Not this time, as Gleason still trying to follow the backside of the number 3 of Shu. Not quite able to get that lined up just yet. As meanwhile, up at the front of the field, looks like it's starting to get maybe a little bit racy up there, as Robert Richards, again, having a look to the high side, just trying to see, I think, if David Connell will go with him. But for right now, Connell kind of glued to the back bumper of the 12, as the 12 is glued to the back bumper of the 971. Top 3 really not going anywhere just yet. They know, though, Andre, they're in a good position. This is the position you want to find yourself in about 21 laps from now, as we go to the checkered flag.
Yeah, not a bad place to be in if you're still there when the race comes to a close. And I wouldn't be surprised if they are, because these two have been so good at working together. Just unparalleled teamwork between these guys. And that's really what it's taken. Connell also being pretty patient. I want to point out that 64, as I've been watching him, he's really not made any moves. He's not tried to create a new line, get anybody to go with him. He's not been very aggressive. He's just been riding around in third. He's not even really on the bumper of Richards and pushing him. He's just kind of even about a car length between them, rolling around in third. He's content where he is. And that tells me he's thinking long term. He doesn't want to be in the lead right now. He doesn't really care to be challenging or aggressive with it. He is probably saving what he's got for the very end of it. We have some pit stops underway. And that is going to give the lead to Connell, whether he wants it or not. But oh my goodness, I believe that was the 18, Jimbo Casterline. Jimbo, we're not going for touchdowns at the end of the grass. We're going for the pits. Let's take a look at the 3-wide TV replay. He was more than coming in hot. He was coming in at mock Jimbo here.
And to add insult to injury for Jimbo, the Giants just scored. So he was trying to go to the end zone like the Giants. Adam Newton also ran a little bit wide there on his pit entry as well. So not sure if that is also bad news for Newton. And it looks like it is bad news for Newton as he finds himself still. This is live scenes here at Talladega. So the winner of 4 races so far this year, pit road penalty for going into the grass there on that pit road entry. So really, really tough news if you are a fan of the number 4. In fact, Adam Newton going to fall 1 lap down as your race leader, David Connell, flashes on by. And I think that's a, 40-second penalty. That's almost going to lose him an entire lap in one fell swoop.
Yeah, that is disastrous, especially with only 19 to go. We're getting to the thick of it here, and now is not the time to make those mistakes. That safe or quick repair, I don't know why I want to keep calling it that. The quick repair gave a lot of these guys a bit of an out for some of the issues they may have, but oh no, the 95 sideways on the apron. He gathers it up. Is he going to be able to rejoin safely? He's still sideways. It's not over yet. That apron is just about as slick as ice when the tires are hot. He does get it gathered up. Good save by the 95. Very impressive. We'll take a look at that on the 3-wide TV replay. So I think he got a little bit of help here. I just caught it on the corner of the screen. I believe it was, a shove from the 55, and that was not even close to being aligned. But again, I don't think it was intentional. I think it was just he had a big run, didn't know where to take it, and unfortunately it went to the bumper. So a bad night gets worse for the 95. Out front, Connell continues to lead the way. He's got the 94, who is, well, he would be a lap down, but given that he's gotten around these guys, he is technically on the lead lap, 52 seconds back, but he would not be reliant on a lucky dog were a caution to come out, and he's in this position, which is good to know. But all those issues on pit road with Adam Newton and Jimbo Casterline, I think a lot of that was indecision. These guys maybe weren't communicating their intentions. Will they, won't they? And then some of these guys saw the other drivers coming down pit road, made a last-minute decision, and it was too last minute. That may be what got Adam Newton. He came down and wasn't fully committed to it until it was too late. So these guys, whenever they do come down pit road, they got to communicate. you got to say, hey, look, I get it. It sucks to give up strategy and let these guys know my intention, but for the betterment of myself and everybody, maybe I should get that little quick chat on the steering wheel that lets them know I'm coming down, because then some of those penalties can be avoided. They can still have a chance at the end of it.
Meanwhile, I'm watching something very interesting out there on the racetrack. I'm going to see if we can bring up probably probably my favorite graphic. Don't bring it up very often, but David Connell is right now our race leader. We talked about one driver making an interesting pit stop, and that is Mike Floppy Tellier. Well, over the last couple of laps, from this graphic that you can see, this is over the last 10 laps, Tellier has somehow chopped off 6 whole seconds. Andre, he's out there right now working with the number 2 machine of Justin White. Now, the bad news for, I think, Tellier is Justin White's going to have to pit somewhat soon, and he's going to lose his drafting partner. But at least for right now, Tellier is making inroads on the front pack with just one other car. And that is, well, actually, I say it was one other car. It's actually now 4 cars, as Maurer and Richards also joining that mix. So that's probably good news for Tellier, but this group is really, really moving right now, as they are closing in on that front pack about a second right now per lap.
Yeah, they're gaining quite a bit, but if it's only a second per lap, that's still not going to be enough. We got 15 to go. They are 26 seconds back. Here comes Justin White. Oh, no. I don't know about that one. I don't think he touched the grass, but he may have been speeding. That was huge brake lock up. We'll see when he comes down to his pit stall how long it takes him to get that car serviced. We'll know pretty much right away if he's got the penalty. Down into the box he goes. Out on track, though, it is still Connell in that 64 leading the way. He's got the 51 machine not quite a lap down in front of him. And then, of course, you have the 94 trying to stay on the lead lap right there as well. Here's this group of 4 cars that is chipping away at the lead pack. But again, it's just going to be too little too late, maybe. As 24 seconds now, they got 24 and a half, 14 to go. They would need something catastrophic to happen.
Well, I think these drivers here, Andre, can make it the rest of the way on fuel. I don't think that front pack can make it the rest of the way on fuel.
That's a good point.
And with the way they're closing in right now, I don't think there's any way that TJ Elaine and David Connell, Thad Miller, Adam Dama and company are able to come down pit road and get off pit road with only losing 24 seconds. This group here they're drafting just as hard as you can. I mean, we have seen how good the 971 and the 12 machine have been together. We know Tellier has been very aggressive. So this kind of 3-car group, I mean, they're trying to pull away from the 4 there of Newton. I mean, Newton's no slouch. He is 1 lap down now, of course, with his pit road penalty. But this group here looking possibly, if it stays green, like what I want to keep my eyes on for the win, because I just can't see the top 6 making it the rest of the way on fuel.
Yeah, you're right. The 47 was among a few of the drivers that came down and got topped off on fuel there long before anybody else. He came down at the same time as the 94, who is currently in this lead pack, just a lap down. And he was able to stay on the lead lap. And these guys, you're right. I think a lot of them are looking at yet another pit stop. Connell, Miller, Dama. I mean, these guys, it's been a while. And again, we don't know the full extent of the fuel mileage, but it would be a huge stretch to think that they could go 12 more laps. And when they come down pit road with only 20 or so seconds back to Mike Tellier, he should presume the lead. And that would be pretty much the race, at least for these guys, because Tellier does not have to come down pit road, nor does Maurer, Richards, any of these guys. So could be interesting as the leaders continue to click off laps. And I think the leaders are going to run it dry. I don't think they're going to be coming down pit road a second sooner than they need to, because I think their only saving grace at this point would be a yellow flag to equalize things. But again, that may not be super likely.
And honestly, Andre, if they're not watching the 3-wide TV replay or the broadcast right now while they're in the car, they might not feel the level of urgency that Mike Tellier, Nate Maurer, and the number 12 machine of Robert Richards feel. I mean, they kind of know that they're gaining. Tellier, Maurer, Richards, at this point, they know they're closing in on the front pack. They're going to be hearing it. They're going to be seeing it on their live timing and scoring. But this front pack, they're out front. They're kind of in their own game at this point. They just might not feel that level of urgency that they need to pick up the drafting. They need to pick up the aggression if they're going to have any opportunity of being anywhere close, unless we get a caution flag. But we'll have 10 laps to go this time. Pendel in the number 94 is still leading this group, but he is on the lead, or just on the lead lap, barely. He is sitting in 10th right now. And if a caution flag was to come out, the lucky dog would be Garrett Gleason, currently running in 11th at the back of the pack. But I just don't think this group feels the urgency unless they are saving fuel. That's another possibility, that they're saving enough fuel to make it to the end of the race. It would be quite a stretch, like we mentioned. So only time will tell. 9 laps to go this time. We'll see if anyone peels off down onto pit road. Nope, no one this time. Andre, this could be a little bit of a nail biter if they plan on making it the rest of the way on fuel.
It really could, and even if they don't, one thing to keep in mind is that their pit stop isn't going to be a full 20-second stop. I mean, it's going to be roll down pit road, you're in your stall for maybe all of 3 seconds, taking a splash just to get to the end. So, if this second pack was still 30 seconds behind, I would say, maybe they could come down pit road, take that splash of gas, and maintain their track position. But they've let them get so close now, 19 seconds, I think, even if they took the bare minimum amount of fuel and they had a flawless pit road entry and a flawless pit road exit, these guys would still probably get around them with 19 seconds being the gap. So they're not in a good position. And again, nope. Okay, for a minute I was thinking, is he thinking about it? But then as he got closer, it's pretty apparent there's no way he was going to slow down. So I don't know if these guys are just starting to maybe try to play mind games, thinking about it. Will they, won't they? But Connell's still maintaining the lead. It's 8 to go. There is not much time remaining in this race. So it's all going to come to a head. Whatever house of cards we've built with this strategy, Peter, it's about to come crashing down.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they're still out there, but I'm just thinking. I keep wondering, maybe they're saving fuel. Maybe that's why they're losing so much ground to Maurer, Richards, and Tellier. Maybe it's not that Maurer, Richards, and Tellier are, drafting that much better. Maybe Maurer, Richards, and Tellier are going flat out. They are going 110%. Meanwhile, this group, maybe they're backing off. Maybe they're, going 90% and trying to save just that little bit of fuel to make it to the checkered flag. That's also a possibility, and we'll see exactly how it all shakes out here in due time. 7 laps to go. We'll make that 6.5 as the race leaders flash down the backstretch on board with Garrett Gleason in the Comans Care number 7. In front of him is the Firehouse number 3 of Jason Shue, riding in 6th. Nathan Estep, we talked to him earlier in the show, and he was out front and leading the way. He is in 5th. Adam Dama in his return to the Stay Tuned Sports podcast series. He is running in 4th. Thad Miller in 3rd. David Connell and TJ Elaine currently in 2nd and up front. We're riding on board with our race leader behind Chris Pendel. I'm just keeping my eyes on this group here, because David Connell's part of the Esports Gaming Network, as is TJ Elaine, and of course Chris Pendel also has Esports Gaming Network there on his rear bumper. So these three, they might be planning something together. They might be scheming together out there on the racetrack. Andre, I love when they keep us on our toes and keep us guessing here on 3-Wide TV, because it makes for these races where, coming to 5 to go, I have no idea who's going to end up in victory lane. Are we going to see a race for the win? 2 and 3 wide craziness coming to the finish line. And we're going to see drivers running out of fuel, coasting to the line. Well, I don't really know at this point.
Yeah, it's anybody's race at this point. Maybe the drivers know more than we do, but I kind of feel like maybe they don't. The strategies are so split, it's so difficult to predict what is going on. I think you might be right about them trying to save, because it is odd to me that 4 cars caught up to this lead pack by so much in the previous laps. And it has kind of slowed down. Ever since they got to about 18, 17 seconds back, it has not been as quick that they're catching them. So it could be that they were trying to save. I don't know if they would ever be able to save enough, but I reckon we're only about 5 laps away from finding out. Looking at the 55 of his step, he is in 4th, and he is behind our leader there, the 64. Actually, TJ Elaine in the lead, I should say, in that 51 machine. So he is currently leading the way. He's got 94 still out front. And again, if a caution were to come out, and not require the lucky dog. But Elaine, Connell, Dama, these guys all under a blanket with a step there as well. Jason Shu, the first car a little bit further back. He's 1.6 seconds back. He's kind of in a little pack of his own with himself and Miller. And then 16 seconds is going to separate these guys from that further back pack that we know for sure doesn't have to pit. Maurer, Richards, Tellier, Pendel is not a part of that pack. Those 3 cars. Adam Newton as well in that 4-car pack.
Well, I'm just wondering, we just see these 3 here, Andre, that are just now starting to kind of lose the front train of Shu, Miller, and Gleason there. I'm wondering if they're realizing that they might be just a little bit short on fuel, so they're having to back off and maybe save a little bit extra, as Thad Miller now, I think, going to try and go race. He's going to try and run down that front pack. Hopefully he has not lost the draft significantly, so I think that is the card that has been dealt. These drivers up front saving fuel, and I just wonder if Chris Pendel, being the hair out front, Andre, kind of taking the air on the nose of the number 94, is giving TJ Elaine and David Connell here comes David Connell. David Connell on pit road, coming up 3 laps short on fuel. I was just wondering if they had saved enough to make it the rest of the way, but Connell blinks, and he's going to come down onto pit road, and we'll see in the background here very quickly is Nate Maurer will be flashing on by. This is the second train of cars, now just 14 seconds behind the lead, led by Maurer, Richards, Tellier. Looks like also Justin White in the fray of this group as well. But back out up to the front of the field, we're going to see the white flag this time by for TJ Elaine, Adam Dama, Nathan Estep, and then back behind them, Thad Miller, Jason Shu, and Garrett Gleason. Kind of their own little 3-car tango right now. They've backed off significantly, Andre. They're back to 5 seconds now behind the race lead. They're going to try and stretch it. Meanwhile, up front, I think TJ Elaine and Nathan Estep, they are good to go. White flag in the air. No more cautions. Will TJ Elaine and Nathan Estep have enough gas to make it 2.66 miles around this racetrack? That's the only thing separating them and the checkered flag.
Yeah, we'll see if they can make it. They're committed at this point. It's go or go home. Down the back straightaway, Elaine is going to be pushing that 94, and he does not want that 55 to get a run. All it's going to take is one
Elaine
slingshot.
is slowing. He's slowing. He stepped to the race lead.
But does he have enough? He's got to get a long way down the tri-oval. We said at the start of the broadcast, we were making fun of the TV presenters, but in this case, it's pretty important to say start-finish line's quite a ways down the tri-oval. But I think he can
coast it from here. He is still at speed 182 miles an hour. He's going to come across the start-finish line, and Nathan Estep goes to victory lane at Talladega. TJ Elaine coasting. Is he going to run out here? We've got more people running out. Looks like Miller's able to get. Miller's able to get second. That's behind him. Nate Maurer just plowed into the back, I think, of Jason Shu, but able to come across the line in third. Richards in fourth. Shu in fifth. Holy smokes, what a finish at Talladega.
Yeah, that was something. I mean, it was just a little bit of difference. I don't think, I don't know that the 55 is going to have enough gas to even burn that thing down, but yeah, the 51 so close, just ran out of gas coming out of turn 4, and it cost him a lot. I guess the 55 was just a little bit lighter on the pedal, and I pointed out how calm he was being. Here comes the 47, Mike Tellier. Going to give him a little bit of a push if he needs it, maybe. Down to the line, maybe a celebratory nudge.
We might get some. We might not get some donuts here tonight. We might get some celebratory circles. I've done that one before. When you got no power, but you got. He's just gonna. Oh, he's got some juice left in it. The number 55 lights him up here on the front stretch. I don't know how he did that, but that's the wrong camera. We wanted the start-finish cam. There we go. And
I don't know how he's got enough gas for this. I mean, I am actually baffled here. Because the only other guy on his same strategy ran out, I don't know, a lap ago. And there it is. I think he's finally out of fuel. But what a great job saving. Get this guy some sort of award, because I don't think I've seen anybody save that hard at a plate track and be the only one to hold out with a strategy like that.
Yeah, that was extremely impressive there at the end. Let's see if we can get maybe one more look there of the checkered flag, because this is going to be a little bit of a wild one. Let's see if we can get a look at the battle for third, because Thad Miller came across the line in second. He was out of fuel. Here he is, running out of fuel, going slow, but he had just enough. He went down there below the apron to try and shorten up the racetrack. And you see, he goes on past TJ Elaine right there. But look at this hard-charging group right here. Nate Maurer has to find a place to go. Shu comes down, try and blocks him, but not enough, as Maurer just able, I think, to get third spot. Let's see if we maybe stop this one. Right. Well, no, man, that didn't go too well, Peter. There we go. Let's play it. Let's slow it down like this. And we're going to try and stop it right when they get to the line. Right there. I
mean, it looks like Richards got it, but iRacing's timing and scoring is... Yeah, I mean, Richards is touching the line. Now, if the 971 was not sideways, he'd probably be in front. But
I'm saying on my end that Maurer got third, but...
Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing. But I think that may just be an iRacing anomaly. He got third, but I'm not sure he should have.
Yeah, okay. We're gonna play this one more time in as slowish motion as we can get. And okay, so there's Thad Miller going across the line, and boom. Well, I don't know what to say. It looks also like, it looks to me like.
Peter.
Well,
he did get third.
Oh, he did get third. Okay.
Transponders are in the back of the car. So the number 12, yes, the nose touched the line first, but the transponder's in the back. So when he's sideways and he's going across the line, his transponder is indeed ahead of that number 12. So yes, he got that position.
I did not know that the transponders were in the back of the car. That is news to me. So it pays to go backwards across the start-finish line. Little did I know.
Generally not, but in this case, yes.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a head scratcher here on 3 Wide TV, but it is what it is. So we're gonna see what we have to dial up here in just a brief second and get some of those post-race interviews for everyone, because that was one heck of a show here on 3 Wide TV. But Andre, let's see if we can. This is interesting. My live timing and scoring is showing Maurer finishing third, but now I just kind of hid my screen so I can bring up the iRacing timing. I think iRacing timing is now showing by 0.005 of a second Robert Richards finishing in third. So I think it's Eastep, Miller, and Richards our top 3 here tonight. Regardless of what my live timing and scoring, it looks like the iRacing official live timing and scoring is now saying something different. So add to the confusion here tonight. I think it was actually how we saw it there across the line. Let's see if we can get some. Let's see if we can get some post-race interviews with some of these drivers. As I'm looking for people. I'm not seeing people. Andre,
Yeah.
I'm. It seems like kind of a ghost town. Let's see if we can get Nate Maurer. No, I'm not even seeing Nate Maurer in here.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing people either.
Well, I think that we might just dial up some post-race interviews. Let's see if we can get Robert Richards. He finished in third. We can get Robert Richards at least tonight. Robert Richards, Peter Short 3Y TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, it was a wild finish there at the end, and we even had confusion of did you finish third? Did you finish fourth? Where did you finish? But it looks like third place here tonight is the iRacing official scoring for you and the number 12 machine. Kind of talk us through the night and the split strategies there at the end.
Well, I don't know. It was a handful tonight. It really was. They were hard to control for whatever reason. Not sure. But me and Nate was staying together the whole time, so we pitted together, and we had Adam with us, and he ended up getting a penalty on pit road. But I didn't think they could save that much. I thought they had too much. I had like 2.5 gallons I needed to save, and I figured that they would have had. I know they were slowing down pace, but like I figured that they still wouldn't have. I thought they would still had to pit, but apparently some of them were pretty good at saving fuel because there was no way I was going to do it.
Well, if you go back and watch the broadcast, they had the commentators fooled. We didn't know what was going on because we were like you.
What's what I'm saying? We were gaining like after me and Nate pitted, we were gaining like 2 seconds a lap, and then all of a sudden it went down to about 0.7 a lap, and then it shot back up to 2 seconds a lap. So we could tell when they were needing to save and they were going to be close, and started picking them off at the end. I guess the leaders, I don't know. I don't know if they put in an extra time under caution or something, but they had it covered there, and then some of the guys were just running, falling off and running out of fuel, and congrats to them for saving fuel that much. That was insane.
Yeah, I mean, you can. We're confused. You're confused. It is mighty impressive what they were able to do. I do know that Nathan Estep did come down and get a little bit extra fuel there right before we went back to green flag. That probably helped a smidgen, but nonetheless, mighty impressive. But a good run for you, sticking with Nate Maurer all night long. We, of course, saw that on the broadcast. How important is it to come to a racetrack like this and know you have a dancing partner out there?
Good. I mean, it's typically me, Nate, Tom, Justin, and Adam. We all kind of stick together. We run a few races, a few different leagues together, so we kind of know how each other's run. I mean, we still make our mistakes with each other and run into each other, but we, for the most part, we do pretty good. It's more or less me running into them. I end up screwing the pooch most of the time, but unfortunate for Justin, he got involved in that wreck, and I don't know how I skated through that one, but third place. Unfortunately, Nate got plastered there coming to the line. But I'll take third.
And that is plate racing in a nutshell, isn't that right? Next week we go.
I mean, it was a handful tonight, and it made it pretty entertaining and fun. I liked it.
Yeah, we were watching you snake behind that 971 for quite some time here tonight. But next week we go to the 1.5 mile Chicagoland Speedway. What are your thoughts about Chicagoland? Hopefully we see you back in the car next week.
Yeah, I love Chicagoland, but unfortunately I'll be in the mountains during that time, so I won't make that race. But I'm sure they'll put on a good race. I know it ain't a full field, but with the guys that are here, it's always fun. Because you got a 15, 16 cars, don't mean it's going to be a good race. I mean, these guys, they all race, and then it's always a challenge. But yeah, Chicago, it's going to be good. I won't be here though.
Well, hopefully you can tune in on 3 Wide TV or catch the replay.
Oh yeah, certainly.
next week. But glad to have you up here in the booth. And like I said, congratulations on finishing third place in tonight's race. Of course, the Baldhead Island Vacation.com 213. Before we let you go, any shout outs you like to give out, Robert?
I want to give a shout out to the guys that helped me out tonight. Nate, obviously, Justin, Adam, Tom. You guys here in the booth doing this. I know y'all could be racing just as easy and having fun with us, but y'all choose to do this. So thanks to y'all and people who put on the league. It's not easy putting on these leagues and being committed to it and putting all the work in. So huge shout out for those guys that make it run.
Absolutely. Well, Robert, have a good trip, and hopefully we'll see you again here in a couple of weeks on 3 Wide TV.
Yeah, I'll be running. I like running with these guys, so whatever races after Chicagoland, I'll probably be here. Trying to bring some guys in as well. Maybe build the field up a little bit and have more good racing.
And that's why we broadcast here on 3 Wide TV, because of the action here on the channel in the NSRA. Thank you very much, Robert. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, I think, Andre, we're not going to get the race winner here tonight. E-Step had to step out. But why don't we check up with Thad Miller in the number 13 machine? Andre, take it away.
Mr. Miller, you got a copy? Thad Miller, it's Andre up in the booth. You got a copy?
Howdy.
Well, Thad, it was a pretty eventful race for just about everybody on the track. You were just crossing the line, I believe, right ahead of a pretty crazy situation breaking out behind you. But the moral of the story is you made it to lap 80. There's a few drivers that can't say the same. Good points day for that number 13.
It was very good. Yeah. I knew when we went green that it was going to be fuel save, and I just tried to run right up behind the people as long as I could to try to get to the end. I thought I was going to run about a lap short, but crossed the line, turned the car off, rolled across it. Thought I finished like 6th, but I guess 2nd.
Now, at a plate track like this, you mentioned the fuel saving, and that was the name of the game. Everybody up in that pack was saving. How do you find that line between saving enough but not saving too much to the point where you risk falling out of the draft or letting the guys behind you catch up?
Yeah. I was watching the real time fuel thing. Every lap, I noticed that I had to stay right behind the guy in front of me in order to save more fuel. If I fell back a couple car lengths, I'd actually use more fuel. So I tried to stay up there as long as I could, but the last couple laps I had to run about half throttle.
So you tuck up a little bit closer, get a little bit more airflow over the car rather than into it. Yeah, that makes sense.
It seemed like it. Yeah, it seemed like it.
Interesting to see. Well, hey, congratulations on a good points day. Hopefully you can carry that momentum forward, and hopefully we're talking to you again next week.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thad Miller out of the booth. And yeah, you don't often see Talladega Superspeedway become a fuel mileage race. That's kind of more of a Pocono thing. But, well, we did it, and it definitely made things fun.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back, I think, and watch this one tomorrow and see exactly how they were able to save fuel, because I'm still kind of shocked too, just like Robert Richards here tonight finishing in 3rd. Let's see if we can bring up the final race results for everyone at home. The graphics, yep, there we go. Okay, the graphics are still working. I thought they might have broke. Nathan Estep, our winner here tonight by a whopping 11.5 seconds. You don't often see that on Superspeedway. Thad Miller coming home in 2nd. Robert Richards in 3rd. Nate Maurer in 4th. Mike Floppy Tellier running out our top 5 as it was a mad dash to the end. Jason Shue was probably a football field away from finishing on the podium here tonight, but he got caught by all those cars that still had gas in the tank. TJ Elaine, one of those without fuel in the tank, coming home to finish 7th. Adam Dama in 8th. He ran out, I think, there on the last lap. Christopher Pendell finishing in 9th. I think he was able to save a good amount of fuel as well, so props to him to make it there to the end. Adam Newton finishing in 10th, 1 lap down. He not able to get his 5th win of the season tonight. Garrett Gleason finishing in 11th. He just needed that caution flag. Did not get it in the number 7 machine. He needed that lucky dog. Was in the lucky dog position for a good majority of the race tonight. Justin White finishing in 12th. He was our Harpoon Designs Pole Award winner at the top of the show. Not able to convert that to a win tonight. Jimbo Casterline finishing in 13th. David Connell came down pit road late, and unfortunately I think he called it a night at that point, finishing 3 laps down. William Ratcliffe had a tough night with some issues with his PC, was able to get back out on the racetrack, finishing 6 laps down. And Tom Lester, who was involved in a accident just after the halfway mark, the only driver to retire here tonight, finishing 36 laps down and being scored in 16th here tonight. But Andre, we move on from Talladega this week over into the next race at Chicagoland Speedway. That is the cutoff race for the playoffs. The top 8 drivers make it into the playoffs. And, entering into tonight, there was some interesting point standing situations there around the 8th position, rather. Garrett Gleason had that spot. Christopher Pendel was just 1 point behind. I think Pendel, even though he had an off night, he had a better night than Gleason. I think he will pole vault himself into the playoffs. And I think William Ratcliffe might have even slipped behind Gleason because he had an off night. He was only 1 point ahead of Gleason. So Pendel, Gleason, and Ratcliffe will all be racing to get themselves into the playoffs next week. So we'll be keeping our eyes on that for certain.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. This playoff situation is tightening up every single week as we get closer and closer, and it's going to be a nail-biter who gets in, who doesn't, and then once the playoffs start, I'm sure it's going to stay just as exciting. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, for myself, Peter Short, Andre Graham Bush, and everyone else in the 3 Wide TV family, folks, stay safe and all of that good stuff. We'll see you next week here on the channel. See ya!